You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Well, would you believe that you could go from $1,000 to $93,000 in just 30 days? Finding real estate deals that are available to the ordinary person like you doesn't sound like you could do it, but the person you're about to hear from, he certainly did, and he's done a lot more. Started out washing windows, and now in a little more than 5 years, he's done over 300 real estate deals, and he must be a super genius, super intellect. How else could this be happening? Well, he's going to tell you how he did it. His name is Zack Boothe, and I'd like to know what your plans are to build wealth like Zachary. Send me an email to kl@kerrylutz.com. Well, Zachary, it's great to have you on here. I guess I should call you Zack. And hey, so you were washing windows. Like, I assume you were making okay money at that?
I did okay. From the outside looking in, I was more successful than I really was. When I finally walked away from window cleaning, it was a full-blown operation. I had 3 trucks and 13 employees. The company still exists today, 5 years later after walking away from it. And it was okay. Definitely paycheck to paycheck, a lot of turnover in that industry. No one really aspired to be a window cleaning technician. It was, we use the term window cleaning technician to try and sexy it up a little bit. Just, it was tough. It was a tough industry to grow. I actually had a ton of success accidentally with my YouTube channel around window cleaning. So I created some tutorial videos on how to wash windows to train my employees. That's why I did it. And these tutorial videos blew up. Like one has like 13 million views, like 20,000 comments, and it landed me on the History Channel. Like a whole bunch of crazy things came of it. So, from the outside looking in, I was more successful than I really was, but the reality was I was broke. I was paycheck to paycheck. I had no net worth. I was in debt. Like it was not where I wanted to be financially, and after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was a young kid and, trying to like build out businesses and build wealth and be an investor, not self-employed, like he talks about, I knew something had to change. And, so yeah, that's kind of where I was.
So did you get inspired by Robert Kyasaki, by Rich Dad Poor Dad, or one of his books?
Yeah. When I was 14, I grew up working with my dad. We had a lawn mowing business when I was a kid. And so I worked after school and weekends and summers since I was 11. And I remember asking my dad, like, how do I make more money? And he's like, I don't know, ask my friend Clint. And so his friend Clint had a bunch of rentals, and he referred me to Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was 14, 32 now. And so when I read that book, it really got my brain going. And so when I was 16, almost 17, I started looking at business ideas, and window cleaning was the idea. So that's kind of how I knew that I needed to get into business for myself, that I wanted to get into business for myself, make my own money, control my destiny. And I knew I needed to get into real estate, but I just kept having so many obstacles to do that.
All right. So you were really on the upward trajectory. You went from mowing lawns to washing windows, and who knows, pretty soon you might have been power washing walks if you kept up on that pace, right?
Right. Yep.
So first property, how much did it cost? How much did you make?
Yes. So this was back in 2012. I got pre-approved for a loan. I was only pre-approved for like 70 grand. Not very much, but I was able to find a duplex that had standing water in the basement. It's a complete piece of crap. And I ended up getting a $5,000 grant for first-time home buyers in the market. So total purchase price was $55,000 out of my pocket, but it was all a loan. So there was zero down. Basically purchase price was 60, but I got 5,000 for free. So I bought this duplex for 55, put about 20,000 in materials, and did all the work myself after work. And weekends and whatever I had to do, swinging the hammer. But that one rented out for one side rented for $750, and I lived in the other side. That was my first taste of real estate, and I wanted more. Right, it was pretty crazy in comparison to how little work it was in comparison to window cleaning.
Yeah, well, I still assume you had to get up on a ladder and change bulbs and paint and all that good stuff. But you were young. How old were you when you did this?
Well, it was 2012, so 2021. What is that? I don't know.
9 years older than you were then.
Yeah. So I was probably early 20s when I did my first deal. I was probably like 22, 23, somewhere around there.
Wow. And so then what happened after that?
Well, I wanted to do more, right? I wanted to transition out of window cleaning. I started listening to podcasts. I paid 10 grand for a mentor that I learned a lot from, but he didn't give me like actionable steps. And like, he just gave me information overwhelm, which I could have got from YouTube. But it was good because I learned a lot, but I also learned a strategy from him, or heard about a strategy from him called wholesaling. And so, the main obstacle I was getting is I wanted more rentals. I wanted passive income. I wanted to build my net worth, right? I wanted to do what Robert Kiyosaki said, right? But the problem is, as a window cleaner, I didn't have a lot of income, right? I was writing off all my expenses, so I didn't have very good debt to income. So basically the banks wouldn't give me a loan. I couldn't qualify for a loan. So I'm like, well, how do I get more properties if I can't get a loan? And then the market started getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and prices were going up and just made it even harder. I had to keep qualifying for more and more and more. And then I heard about wholesaling, where you're in the business of finding off-market, super discounted deals. And all you got to do is find the deal and then find the investor that wants a deal, and you get paid a fee for finding the deal, essentially. There's no risk, no debt, none of that. And I'm like, that's it. That's what I need to do, because then I can get cash, but also I can cherry pick the best ones. I can be like, nope, let's sell that deal. Let's sell that deal. Oh, this deal makes perfect sense for my portfolio. I have the cash. I have the ability to do it. Let's do this deal. Right. So that's why I got into real estate wholesaling. I got a different coach, paid 9 grand, worth every penny. That was that second coach I hired back in, February 2017. And I did my first traditional wholesale deal where I sold the contract, zero risk. I made 10 grand selling the piece of paper. That was in April of 2017. And now I have a business, fast forwarding. Now I have a business doing this on scale. I have a holding company as well with a few deals, not a ton. But I'm wholesaling. Just so far this year, we've wholesaled almost $800,000 in assignment fees. So we're doing a lot of these deals.
And that's in 2021, huh?
Yep.
That's pretty amazing. So how do you find the deals? I guess, well, hold on. Let's go back. So another thing you told me is you took $1,000 and turned it into $93,000 in 30 days in Florida.
Yeah, it was actually 40 days was the challenge. But yeah, it actually ended up being 30 days because the last 10 days I ended up in Brazil because my father-in-law was hospitalized. So I got 30 days in Florida, 10 days virtually in Florida. Or not Florida, sorry, in Brazil. But yeah, the whole reason I did that is I was only doing deals in Utah at the time. And, I help people, I coach people, I have a YouTube channel and podcast. I love giving free content and helping people. I do coach, but I also believe in giving back. I want that to be, my life's mission, my purpose. One of my favorite books, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The author, Stephen Covey, talks about the importance of starting with the end in mind. If you're dead and you were listening to your eulogies and what people are saying about you at your funeral, what do you want to hear? And I want to hear that I serve people, that I change lives. And so that's why I create all the content that I do. And so the whole point of the 40-day challenge was to show people that, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to have a huge budget. You don't have to know your market. I'd never even been to Tampa, Florida. Never even been there when I decided to do this. And so I took the $1,000, jumped on a plane. I had a film crew with me, and the goal was to just document day by day, making over 40 grand. The goal is 40 grand. I figured I could beat it. And that was the goal.
Yeah. Wow. So the goal was only 40,000. Huh. And so how do you help people in this business?
Yeah. So basically my main strength is I help people that have very little to no experience in real estate do their first wholesale deal. So I do that by teaching a marketing strategy that changed my life, that really took me from window cleaning to being ultra successful and extremely financially successful through real estate wholesaling. And that's my marketing channel, right? Because the whole premise around doing wholesaling is you have to start with a super discounted opportunity. Because if you can't get a super discounted property, you can't assign that to an investor, because you got to leave enough meat on the bone that the end buyer, the investor, is willing to pay a cash offer for it. So you have to be able to find deals to be able to make money in wholesaling. And so when I started doing this, I found a few deals doing things that everyone talks about, putting out bandit signs, sending postcards and cold calling like tax delinquent lists and lists you can buy from companies like PropStream. And you'll hear about a lot of these strategies that people use, but I was just tough. I mean, I was every appointment I had lots of people there, lots of competition. I was just really struggling to do any deals or any big deals even. And soon as I started doing driving for dollars, what that means is I started driving around my local area here, looking for houses that had physical signs of neglect. And I remember one of my first driving for dollars deals had a hole in the roof, major cracks in the brick, like abandoned. It was vacant. And I made like $83,000 assigning that deal. And I was hooked. I was like, all right, this is what I got to be doing. I got to be finding these ugly houses, reaching out to the homeowners and see if they'll sell. And with time, the system's evolved, and I've been teaching this to people across the country and looking at their numbers and what works, like what should be your exact criteria, how often you redrive your areas, like all these different things that go with it. And I first started off with just a few hundred properties. Now I'm adding, as I've scaled up my business, I have to start this large, but I'm adding 4,000 properties every single week to my marketing list. And I'm texting and I'm cold calling and I'm postcarding the people on that list.
Wow. Sounds a lot like the Land Geeks system of going through the delinquency records. I mean, his is more a marketing, just a direct marketing campaign rather than actually riding around looking for the opportunities. In my neighborhood, if there was a house like you were describing, there would be a code enforcer in front of it, and there would be $500,000 worth of municipal liens on this property, which is something you have to be really careful of in Florida. They're hard to find oftentimes, and they're like a ticking time bomb that can really set you back. So I assume you make a quick and dirty title search of the property, figure out who owns it, figure out, you have to value it, obviously. How do you come up with a valuation?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Fury Gold Mines is a Canada-focused exploration and development company committed to aggressively growing its scalable, high-grade gold assets with major drill campaigns planned across its 3.5 million-ounce portfolio. Fury is led by a management team of proven explorers and developers with a track record of success in advancing and financing project development. Fury Gold Mines is well-positioned to create value for investors with low-risk development growth and the potential for a new major discovery. Fury Gold Mines trades on the TSX and NYSE American under the ticker FURY. To learn more, go to furygoldmines.com. That's furygoldmines.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network. The information you need to thrive now more than ever.
Yeah. So a lot of people will say, just quick and dirty numbers, is 70% of whatever the after repair value is. You can pull after repair value from Zillow. So when I went down to Florida, I knew nothing about the market. I had none of that information. I was able to make friends and become an assistant to an agent and get MLS access while I was there. So I was able to pull official comps on properties, but for the first 3 weeks, I couldn't. So I was just going off Zillow, recently sold properties using Zillow, made my best guess of what they were worth fixed up. And then my calculation is a little more complicated than 70% of that. What I do is I take the after repair value, I times it by 0.92. Okay. So you might want to take a note, listeners, take a pen and paper and write this down. So times it by 0.92, that gets rid of 8%. So I'm going to walk you guys through these numbers. So let's say you have $100,000 or a house that's worth $100,000 fixed up. So I do 100,000 times that by 0.92, that gets rid of 8%. That brings us down to $92,000. Then I make my best guess for whatever the rehab is going to be. Let's say it just needs lipstick. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1 kitchen, right? Probably going to cost a flipper 25 grand to update bathroom, kitchen, and carpet and paint, right? It's lipstick. It's not electrical. It's not roof. It's none of those things. So we'll say roughly 25 grand. So minus 25 grand in repairs. So that's at 67. But remember, you have to leave meat on the bone for the end buyer, for the flipper.
It's like the Pawn Stars. You always got to make sure that the person who's going to retail it has a profit margin.
Exactly. So they're probably going to want to make 15 grand, right? If they're going to go do the work, take the risk, get the debt, all that, they're probably going to make 15 grand. So minus $15,000 to the flipper. That means my break even number is 52,000. So the house fixed up's worth 100. I need to get it for $52,000. So, or under 52. Anything I can get it under 52, that's where I start negotiating. So that's how I evaluate, and it's rough numbers. You know, you might have a buyer that's super hungry and has a 1031 tax exchange and is like, we'll make some crazy high offer. Sometimes we'll think we'll make 30 and we make 50. Sometimes we think we'll make 30 and we make 10. It's not an exact science, because there's a lot of variables, but you just do your best. But the best part about wholesaling is, let's say something happens where, you know, you expect to make 10 grand and you end up finding a buyer that says they'll pay for that much and it falls apart and they don't buy it. You can always cancel your contract. So I had one of those deals in Florida during the 40-day challenge. I signed an agreement. I thought I could move it, but I was just under contract, just a little too high. The sellers wouldn't renegotiate with me, canceled the agreement. No risk, no lost money.
But you had to make a deposit. Don't you have to give earnest money?
Sure.
When you're entering into these, and so you cancel the contract, you get your earnest money back.
Exactly. So I put earnest money down. And when I first started, I didn't have a lot of money. So I was putting like $50 down for earnest money. I'm not an advisor. I'm not an attorney. You should probably have more than that.
Not a recovering attorney. And I wouldn't allow any of my clients to take a $50 earnest deposit. $1,000 is the tradition.
Yeah.
For anything.
1%. There's lots of different rules, right? So I wouldn't, you know, of course, you have that risk. So what earnest money is, for the listeners novice to this, it's money you put down that makes the contract a legally binding agreement, right? And so the title company usually holds that money. But in my purchase agreements, I have the inspection period, and I'm allowed to back out of the contract during the inspection period if I need to. Right. And I get my earnest money back. If I back out after the inspection period, I lose that earnest money. So I was putting down $500 just because, you know, it was about 1%. Anyways, we ended up having to cancel, but I try and give myself 3 weeks inspection period, which is enough time to have the inspection, to have potential partners, potential end buyers there to inspect the property with me and give me offers of what they would be able to pay. And then I can go back to the seller and either cancel or renegotiate, or tell them, hey, we're good to go. Here's I know our closing date is this on the agreement, but we can actually close sooner if you would like. And then we finalize the deal at that point.
All right. So have you taken so you're still just wholesaling? Do you ever buy the house and then wholesale it?
Yeah, sometimes we'll buy the house and sell it. If we end up taking the debt and the risk, we'll usually do a very light rehab. It's usually like carpets and paint, or a full rehab and then list it on the MLS. Very rarely will we close on it and then just sell it to our cash buyers, just because we can get more by listing it. If we take on that debt. The best part about wholesaling is you don't have to get the debt. You don't have to get the hard money. You don't have to pay real estate commissions to resell it, right? So it cuts out a ton of expenses. Plus, I don't have title fees twice, right? I don't have the title fees of closing on it and then selling it again and closing on it.
Stamp tax, and I don't know whether you're, in that case, I'd probably want title insurance, but that's another added thing. Why pay for it twice? You're better off. So what you have in the legal parlance is an executory assignable contract.
Yep.
And the worst that you can do is lose your $1,000 or whatever you're putting down, 500, whatever it might be. Well,
Yep.
This is really fascinating. I know it's a valid method. I've known other people who've done similar things. The key is always finding the opportunities. That is the hard part of this business. That's where the work comes in. Once you've got it, then it's some phone calls and do up a contract. Florida, they couldn't be easier. It's a non-attorney state, what we call a title state. So you don't need an attorney to close. Other states you do. And assignability is the key. Well, people are definitely going to want to find out more about you. Zack, tell us how to find you on the web, your podcast, your YouTube channel, all that good stuff.
Yeah, everything I have is branded Driving for Dollars Mastery or DFD Mastery, right, around my marketing channel. So if you want to watch my YouTube, just search DFD Mastery in YouTube. It'll pull up my YouTube channel. You can watch a ton of content. I have a ton of free actionable step videos, ton of great content there, including the 40 grand and 40-day challenge. You can see all that play out and how we did it. Like you see me doing it step by step, just starting with $1,000. And then, we made $93,000 in assignment fees on that challenge. It was incredible. So if you're going to watch anything, that's super, super awesome. If you have any interest in wholesaling, and I picked up 2 rentals with like 100 grand equity as well on top of it. So my net worth went up almost 200 grand from that challenge, which is crazy.
That's funny. So actually the 2 that you picked up, the 2 rentals kind of failed because they weren't really, they wound up not being included as part of the challenge. So your number would have been, if you would wholesale them or flip them or whatever, your number would have been way higher.
Yeah, it would have been way higher, but it's like, I doubled my goal and these make more sense long-term to hold them and then do a lease option to the tenants. I have one exercising the right to buy me out. I'm going to make 50 grand free and clear, no cut, no real estate agent in between us. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of ways to make money, but like you said, right, you start off with a good deal. If you can get a good deal, it's really easy, right? It's kind of hard to screw up when you get a property 40 cents on the dollar. You kind of have to be an idiot not to make money.
Yeah, really. Well, a wise person once told me, you don't make money in real estate when you sell it. You make money when you buy it. Just recently bought a house for myself to live in, and it became a quandary because the house had a substantial appreciation. I had a long closing. That's what the sellers wanted. That's why I was the one who got it, because I was the only one willing to give them a 3-month closing. And by the time we closed, the value of the property had gone up 15%. And I'm thinking, well, I should just flip this. I could just flip it. But then it was like, okay, well, there's nothing else available. There's no other houses on the market. I'm kind of screwed. This is it. In any event, Zack, we got to go. But if you got a question for Zack, send an email to kl@kerrylutz.com. Make sure you sign up for our free newsletter, financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Zack, it's been a real pleasure. We're definitely going to have you back on, and good luck in your endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.